Welcome to BCN's Beyond the Network podcast. In today's episode, we're joined by a very special guest, Jamie Bodeker, Channel Sales Manager at GTS, alongside BCN's own sales director, Phil Hagee. Together, they will dive into the secrets of getting to ink, what it takes to close the deal, and how the power of teamwork helps us put our customers' needs front and center. Let's welcome Jamie and Phil. Let's start with an overview, Jamie. You and your team at GTS work closely with many businesses in what you call the retail healthcare space. Can you tell us all a little bit more about that?
So we've found a niche. What we found is that the retail healthcare space, they have certain challenges. They're all different in many ways, but really at the core, they have multiple locations across the United States, and it's difficult to manage voice, data, and security. So we've been able to help them with those solutions.
Jamie, can you tell us a little more about private equity backing being a common thread in this market and what's important to them?
Yeah, that's a great question. And what we found working with these clients is that the private equity groups are they're driving these companies for simplicity and cost savings. So especially their operational expenses. So you might hear OpEx is a common business term. And so working with BCN, your team's been able to provide the simplicity of managing those services as well as save them money. And it's a very predictable model for our clients.
Absolutely, and since there is equity involved, right, they're usually diverse or dispersed networks like coming together as one, and that is a perfect opportunity for, like you said, to simplify things and actually cost savings. So
right.
It's a perfect fit.
Right.
That's great. Phil, can you share a success story where GTS and BCN work together to deliver a seamless solution?
Sure, there's many of them, but
we have a few now for sure.
One specifically comes to mind. It was we'd actually quoted some business and actually lost the business. The customer chose another carrier. After 2 or 3 months of the other carrier just not performing, the customer came back to GTS and said, "Hey, we made a mistake. We need to change this." So GTS brought them back to BCN, which was actually their suggestion in the first place. But the customer had a relationship and decided to go a different route. Long story short, in just a few months, we were able to install close to 200 to 250 locations in like 3 to 4 months. The customer actually had to come back and say, "Hey, slow down just a little bit here. You're outpacing our IT staff." So that was a big win where another carrier could not cut it, and BCN stepped in and overperformed.
Right, and they're continuing to add business.
Yeah, it's been a great relationship. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that was one where you're right. They had worked with a large competitor of yours in the past. They called us up and said, "Hey, we have an opportunity here. Private equity held. We need simplicity. We need predictability. We're hoping for cost savings. We have many different carriers all over the country right now, and it's hard for our team to manage it. What can you do for us? We want to take a look at the company we've worked with in the past, but we'd like to see another provider as well." That's when we brought you guys in, and like you said, unfortunately it didn't go your way the first time, right? But it ended up working out in the long run. So,
and in fact, it's been about 3 years since that happened.
That's right.
And we're now circling back to pick up the locations that the other company had installed. So not only they're happy with the way things are going, they're actually moving the rest of the business over to us as well.
That's right. Yeah. It's been a great experience for them. A really fun one for me to bring you in on was the client that's in aviation and air traffic control, and just the way they move quickly, next couple of weeks, and those services they're internet services, but they could be anything from fiber to broadband to Starlink now.
In tough to install situation environments such as airports, the active runway side of the airport, right, where techs have very limited access and et cetera. Yeah.
Right.
So.
But what was cool for me to see is your team really get kind of out of your comfort zone,
Way out of the comfort zone.
right? I mean, ideally, we get a signed service order agreement, and you've got 90 days to install, right? And then we can go through the project plan. But this, going in, we knew.
Once we actually find the product, the good fit, and get it installed, I enjoy the project calls that we have with that particular client, and he goes in depth of all the technology stuff that they're doing that we don't have sight to, but our services enable all this stuff, right? At huge cost savings to, to the government, to a bunch of different folks, right?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting stuff.
I was surprised. One of the calls, he said, "Hey, I'll send you some boxes, and you can go test them out."
Right.
I was surprised you turned him down on that.
Wow.
Jamie, can you share some insight about what's going on at GTS?
A lot going on. As you know, we made a couple great hires in the last 18 months to 2 years. As far as TSDs go, we understand that there's a lot of really good TSDs out there. And so for our partners, we've tried to take an unconventional approach. I would say starting about 4 years ago, our CEO, he recognized the shift to cybersecurity, the need for our partners and clients to be able to work with their clients on selling cybersecurity solutions. And he made it his goal to build out the best cybersecurity portfolio in the industry. And he's done that. We've got the director, we've got a great director of cybersecurity, we've got a CTO now, and so we're really, we're trying to get away from the traditional. We'll never get away from the traditional telecommunications sales, but we're trying to give our partners other opportunities to sell different things. It's worked out really well. GTS, we've been fortunate. We've been out to the BCN office, operations office in Boca a couple times now. The first time we met with the team and we're sitting at dinner as a team that night, and everybody's sitting around the table just saying how impressive it was, the tenure. Everybody we met that day, I've been here 10 years, I've been here 8 years, I've been here 15 years. That's not common in our industry.
Sure.
And you can really see the passion for your partners and for clients when the company has that type of culture, and it starts at the top. Everybody we met, from Richard to Julian to Ryan, are just all just really good, genuine people.
Jim, you have a lot of carriers in your portfolio, different carriers to choose from and so forth. What makes you comfortable with BCN? Why do you use BCN as much as you do?
Well, I feel like saying that a lot. A great question. There's a couple things, but as a TSD, GTS as a TSD, and our partners and clients coming to us, you can make 100 great recommendations, and if you make one wrong recommendation, you may not get the opportunity to make another recommendation for that partner or for the client. So we built a comfort level with BCN just by the way you guys show up. Again, your attention to detail, the communication, everything. It's been a really good experience again, and we have extreme confidence in your ability to deliver.
What I find working with your team, just through all the install processes, quoting process, everything, is the level to customer experience, right? It seems to be on the same plane as far as GTS and BCN is concerned. So I often say in the presentations that since BCN does not have a direct sales force, right? Every time we sign up a new client, we actually have two customers to please, right? GTS and the end user. So without pleasing both, you have no shot at additional opportunity. So I really think the customer experience from BCN and GTS is very close, and I think that's the thing that makes the relationship work so great.
Yeah, no doubt. We feel that. We feel that, and there's a reason why we keep making recommendations for BCN. And it's funny, how you say you have two clients. Well, I always say that GTS, we try to be very service-centric, and traditionally a non-service-centric industry. industry. I mean, we've been in telecom a long time, and the customer satisfaction ratings were very low through the years, and there's still this stigma of that. And so, we try to dispel that, right? And BCN's the same way. I mean, again, you spent a great job of the experience.
Well, that's a wrap on our very first Beyond the Network podcast. Huge thanks to Jamie Bodeker, Channel Sales Manager at GTS, and our very own Phil Hagee, BCN Sales Director, for an incredible conversation. They truly nailed what it takes to build powerful partnerships, support customers, and turn opportunities into signed deals. Stay tuned for more insights, and we'll catch you on the next episode.